One of the most underrated, no, actually forget that. The most underrated position in football is a fullback. I mean, let's be honest, it's a thankless job and also a brutal job. Like, one way a fullback can be effective is on a play like this, where it's going to be a run to the left side of the screen, but really that Charger is the one you're going to want to take a look at. In a typical play, if there was no fullback in this game, that would probably be the Charger who could come in and make this play. But that's when James Devlin comes in. It's kind of hard to see because the running back is in front of him, but James Devlin's job is going to be very important here. Watch what he's able to do, and watch how he's able to take that Charger just completely out of the way. Again, to me, what's most impressive about this play is look at James Devlin's speed. Look at how quickly he got to that top speed and was able to run over and knock that Charger out of the way. You know, being a good fullback, you do have to be an athlete. You're not just some guy who's in charge of just running into someone else. You do have to be able to run pretty quickly, and Devlin did there. That was a good run, and it was largely set up by Devlin being able to get over and make that block. One of the things that really made that Patriots offense so effective last year was they essentially had 7 offensive linemen. They had their 5 O-linemen, and then also Rob Gronkowski, who blocked like an offensive lineman, and then Devlin, who could also make blocks like offensive linemen. Like on this one, what New England is going to do is they're going to have their right tackle have a 1-on-1 matchup right over there, and then they're going to double team the interior lineman right over there, and then the right guard will then move out to block a linebacker. But notice that the right guard is blocking the linebacker on the left side of the screen, which isn't something you would often do here. However, since you have Devlin, it is something you can do, because Devlin can then run up and block that linebacker. So watch Devlin's block here. I mean, that's a perfect block because for 2 reasons really. The first of which is he just did a great job making that block, but the second of which is that because he is a fullback instead of an offensive lineman, this now means that someone isn't coming at him, he's coming at somebody. He's able to run over and push that linebacker farther back than he maybe would have if he was just an offensive lineman who took a couple steps back. Because he's in position to already run, he's basically able to get to that linebacker much quicker than an offensive lineman would, because an offensive lineman has to sell as though it could be a run or a passing play. Either way, a fullback is going to be running forward whether it's going to be a passing play or a rushing play, so they don't really give away too much there. Obviously, sometimes they will pass block, but even then, you would run forward before doing that. And because of his speed, he was able to get up there and make that block and allow for a decent run. He was really effective in that playoff run, and honestly, he was probably most effective in that Super Bowl, which is kind of crazy because this is the first play that happened. Basically, what New England is going to do is have their center and right guard each basically force those 2 Rams farther away as possible. They're going to try to force to basically as big of a gap as they can possibly get. And most times, that would be stupid because Sue is right there and he would easily be able to run in and try to make a play on this ball. But New England has a plan for Sue. They're going to have James Devlin go out and block him. However, this is going to actually go pretty poorly for Devlin. I mean, he makes the block, but look at how he just gets rocked there by Sue. I mean, he gets laid out on the first play of the Super Bowl. He takes a huge hit from one of the baddest players in the game. I mean, that's just a bad hit. But that's kind of why a fullback is a thankless job, because he then got up, made a lot of other blocks, and had a very big impact on the rest of the game. In the only touchdown of the game, he actually played a big role. Here's what happened. On the left side of the screen, it's going to be all 1-on-1 matchups right there. Right there on the left side of the screen, it's all 1-on-1 matchups. And that's where Devlin comes in. His job is to run over there and lead block for Michelle. Michelle is supposed to just follow Devlin wherever he goes. If Devlin goes to the B gap, then Michelle should also go to the B gap. If Devlin goes to the C gap, then Michelle should go to the C gap. It's that simple, really. And so once this play develops, as you see, Devlin, he has a plan right off the bat. He's going to try to clear that Ram out of the way, give some room for Michelle to run through and get to the touchdown. That's Devlin's responsibility on this play. And look at the job he's going to be able to do. He completely owns his matchup. Granted, he's going up against a defensive back, but you know, your job against a defensive back if you're a fullback is to completely clear him out of the way, and that's what Devlin did. No one's going to confuse a fullback for a quarterback, or honestly for several other positions, because it just isn't as important. For one thing, you just don't take as many snaps as most other positions do. But if you use one correctly, a fullback can be very beneficial, and if you have a really good one like Devlin, it can be even more beneficial. Not to mention, he had 4 touchdowns last year on 1.3 yards per attempt, which is just such a fullback stat. It's a system that loves to use fullbacks, and Devlin is a very good fullback, and that's part of the reason he's now a 3-time Super Bowl champion.